Back here in the sunshine. It's a nice bright sunny day, so I have a very white window behind me. I'm going to read the prologue from The Lady in the Attic. It's a very shiny cover by Tara Randel. It's the first in the series of Annie's Attic Mysteries. I'm guessing that it's a cozy mystery. Prologue. Mom, we're fine. We don't need you here any longer. The story of her life, Annie Dawson thought, as her daughter's words replayed over and over in her mind. Leanne had recently undergone a minor surgical procedure, and Annie had gladly helped out while her daughter recovered. It hadn't been serious, but Leanne had needed a few days off her feet. Taking care of her 5-year-old twin grandchildren, John and Joanna, had required a lot of work. But Annie loved it. The days had flown by until Leanne decided to send Annie on her way, saying she was ready to get back to the task of taking care of her family. Now, at loose ends, Annie glanced down at the yarn twined around her hook. This was the third blanket she'd crocheted for a church baby shower this year. Ever since her husband Wayne had passed away last year, she'd been aimless, and with Leanne capable of taking care of herself, where did she fit in now? She sighed deeply, laying the baby blanket on her lap to stare out over the front yard. The late Texas spring had turned the grass to gentle green. Wildflowers in rich hues of blue, yellow, and pink bloomed in profusion along the fence near the main road. Before long, the temperature would shoot from pleasurable to just darn hot. Another spring would lead to another summer, autumn, and a new year. Another year spent rambling around in the big house with only herself for company. Shaking her head, she glanced down at the nearly finished stroller blanket of squares and rectangles with heart motifs in varying shades of pink outlined with white. She picked up the hook and soft yarn, returning to the task at hand. She was just finishing a row when the phone rang. Should have brought the handset outside, she muttered as she hurried indoors to answer before the answering machine clicked on. Breathless, she answered, "Hello? Mrs. Dawson? My name is Gordon Proctor. I'm the attorney for your late grandmother, Elizabeth Holden." The ache of sadness that had only just started to diminish filled her again. 2 weeks ago, Graham had passed on, filling Annie with about as much heartache as she could handle. When she first received the news, she couldn't believe it. Granted, Graham had been in her late 80s and it was probably her time, but Annie's memories were of a vital, active woman. She couldn't wrap her mind around the fact that Graham would no longer be there for advice or just to chat. "How can I help you?" "I'm calling to inform you that your grandmother left you Grey Gables and all its contents." Annie paused, surprised. "She left me the house?" Even though her parents had died, her mother 5 years ago from tuberculosis contracted in Africa, her dad 2 years later from a stroke, it never crossed Annie's mind that she would inherit everything. "Yes, I'll need to have you sign off on the property and straighten out a few other particulars of her will. Can you take care of these details?" "If that's what Graham wanted, of course." "Excellent. Then I'll see you when you arrive in Stony Point." "Wait, say that again." "Stony Point, Maine, where Grey Gables is located." "Well, yes, I know where that is. Can't we do this over the phone?" "Mrs. Dawson, you need to make some decisions about the house. There's paperwork involved, so coming here makes perfect sense." He must have sensed her trepidation because he quickly added, "Why don't you think about this? I can handle it all for you if you wish." "Yes, I'll think about it and get back to you. Thanks." She returned the phone to its cradle. Graham had left her Grey Gables? Annie wandered back out to the porch, her mind spinning just as it had when the doctor had called with the news of Graham passing away in her sleep. Thankfully, she hadn't suffered, but the call had come on the same day as Leanne's surgery. Torn by the dilemma Annie found herself in, she knew she'd never make it in time for the funeral, so she elected to stay with the grandchildren. She knew that Graham would understand. How many years had passed since she'd been to Maine? Not since before her daughter, Leanne, had been born. With a new baby and the Dawson car dealership to run with Wayne, there hadn't been time for her summer trips back east, so Annie had always flown Graham to Dallas, picking her up at the airport and driving her home to Brookfield. I'm stopping now, so it's only a little over 5 minutes. But we have at least 4 in this series. I don't know how many more there are than that. Thanks for listening.